Um, Benson says, "Hey everyone, I cannot complete a task, and I'm kind."
Beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that honesty.
Yes. And
Right.
then Grace Gadua says, "A friend
Uh-huh.
to be
Mhm,
strong, and this
mhm.
is who I am today."
A friend told her to be strong.
Yes. And then Justin White
Uh-huh.
has just posted. He says, "I am
Uh-huh.
a teacher. I am a teacher because of the teachers I had."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Teachers on call. Do you feel the vibe? Do you feel nice? Do you see how much we can impact lives, change lives? And that is the blessing God has given us. And even if you're not a teacher here, there could be something else you have done. Right.
I'd like
Again,
to, sorry, there are two
go
more.
ahead.
Can I share them?
Continue. Uh-huh.
Says Elizabeth Wanza says, "I remember
Uh-huh.
being gifted in class because I was always truthful."
Uh-huh.
Um, Isaac Mwangi says, "My grandmother
Mm-hmm.
trained me on being honest. I was that
Mm-hmm.
one person who would be sent to the shop because I could always bring back the right change."
Mm-hmm.
Anne says, "My sister told me when I was in high school, I
Mm-hmm.
am daft. I had
Mm-hmm.
to check the dictionary. It meant stupid. Sometimes I feel stupid."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Someone else here, Jonathan Nganga says, "My mother always told me that hard work truly pays."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are the comments so far. I
Wow.
think I feel concerned about
Go
one of
ahead.
these comments,
Mm-hmm.
the one about being daft, and just
Yes.
going by what you're
Mm-hmm.
encouraging us to say. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
words that we say to ourselves. I'm looking for the person who's not muted. Okay,
Okay.
we're okay now. Asha Didi.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Really can't unmute. I can't mute. Don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
I
maybe
actually
you can't mute
can't
from your
mute
end.
her.
I,
Let me just remove her first.
okay, that's fine. All right.
Yeah.
So what
So
we
as
what
I
you're
was
going to
saying,
say? Mm-hmm.
I was trying to say that it's very important
Mm-hmm.
for us to be very aware of the words that we speak to ourselves, because you're more likely to believe what you're saying than what other people say to you. And like the lady who's shared with us, let me just go back to that. That was
Don't say the name,
Anne. Oh, sorry. But she's
but it's
written
okay.
it in the pub, like, to everyone. It's not
No
a,
problem. No problem.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm
Mm.
glad she's chatting, but
Mm.
it's just an encouragement that you see,
Mm-hmm.
how does it feel when you tell yourself negative things? It feels like you're taking a cup of poison. But when you start telling yourself positive things, it feels
Yes,
so good. It feels so
to
good.
do
I don't
that.
know whether there's anyone who's done that for themselves. When you tell yourself, "Oh, I look so good today," or "I'm
Yes.
really good at this," it feels
Mm.
encouraging. And I think we need to do that on purpose and intentionally. So
Mm.
it's
Mm.
sometimes people say things out of anger, but it doesn't mean you wear that as your badge.
And that's where we are going, actually. And that's where we are going. And I want to appreciate the point you have given, actually, and tie it to the fact that many times we walk with wounds. We walk with wounds. And that's still part of self awareness. And these wounds will come out as we share with other people. And part of treating a wound is opening it up, first of all. And I believe that's part of what we are doing right now. Opening up that wound and saying this and this, like you see here. For example, somebody was told, "I'm not a bright child academically. I'm not able to speak before people. I am a shy person." They recognize that somebody brought that into their lives. And then now they answer the fourth question. As per now, is this real? Have I kept on moving with that? And once we recognize that we are moving with it or we've dealt with it, then we are gaining more self-awareness. So moving on to the next one, again, we'll come to handle why for some people, they take words to heart, while for others, it's just like bouncing a ball and it goes. there are some reasons for that. So now, coming to debating with self-awareness, what are the elements then we must be aware of? Wow, here is a personality test. If you do this test and we stop here, I think it would be worth it. Because this is where you'll find out whether you are a beaver, a golden retriever. Something is blocking my screen on this other side, but I'm going to talk about all of them. Or you are a choleric, a sanguine, melancholic, and phlegmatic. So I want to kindly give us a few minutes to do this one, because this is the core of our discussion today. Now, all the others will now add to this one. If you have done it before, try doing it again and see whether you score the same. So this is a 5-minute personality test. You choose the item in each line that is most like you and put 4. The one that is most like you put 4. Then pick the item that is next, most like you, and put 3. Then 2, and then 1, which is least like you, meaning that you will fill the entire page. All those spaces that are provided, you will fill them with numbers. After that, we will add as columns, the columns going down, and that will determine now who you are. So kindly, you may not write all of them like authority. If you write fast, that is well and good. If you don't, just write 1, whatever you're writing down, going down this way, then this way for column 2, column 3, and column 4, and ensure each row is also filled. And then we can share who you are. So if you like authority, in terms of you enjoy being in authority. You enjoy being in authority. That's what we mean by like authority. Okay. So are we still there? Are we doing something? Should be writing. And I'm assuming that everybody here can read. Should I read it out loudly? Should I read for everybody? Oh, those who are seeing can see. Hey, people are quiet. Are we in for an exam, for example? Blessings, Doreen.
I think we're just thinking about it.
Oh, we are doing the exam. I've done it so many times. I've done this test so many times, and every time I discover new things about me, and I love it. Yeah, I love it. So I'll give us how many more minutes? 2 more minutes or 3 minutes? You know yourself? Okay. Okay. You can try again. It's not a bad idea. And in case somebody has a word which may not be easily understandable, feel free to seek for it to be clarified. Feel free to just ask what that word means. That is why we are here, as we discover who we are. Tries new ideas, competitive. Don't do that. Has anybody finished? Hey, heads are busy working. And as you do it, I hope you're seeing yourself.
Yes, yes. I just finished mine.
Wow. So you score in the columns, eh?
Okay.
At the end of 10, take your scores for each column.
Oh, okay.
And then you pick the first 2 top scores, and that is probably who your personality is. Then now I'll go and explain each one of them.
Okay.
Antonin, hi.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I know you've done this test a million times.
But I'm still struggling.
And I know why. And I know
Why?
where I know why I can place you within these columns.
So I don't.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it's better you find out yourself.
I already know. I can see myself in several.
Okay. Interesting. Right. So in interest of time, do I just now go ahead? At least we have tried. Again, part of the reason we won't all finish at the same time is still the same reason why these are the way they are. Part of the reason is because of this. So let me move on. At least a few have finished, and now try and explain why, as a debater, why, as a human being, we need to be conscious of these personality traits. Why is it hanging now? My screen wants to hang, but we shall not allow it to. Next. All right. So the first one is the lion. The lion. This is the lion. Be aware of our personality. The lion is also known as the choleric. Choleric has nothing to do with cholera, at least not to the best of my knowledge. These are terms that were used by some Greek philosophers. And there are very many ways of looking at personalities, but I like these 4 because they are quick and easy to remember. 1, a choleric enjoys challenges. So when we give a topic for discussion, they are saying, let it come like yesterday, or any challenge. Difficult assignments and opportunity to get better is what they enjoy, because cholerics are generally fearless. If you have a friend or a child who is choleric, they have no issue going into a supermarket and people are lining up and somebody is messing up, or like when we are voting and some people are probably jumping queues, they are the ones who will be loud enough to say, excuse me. You know, the others will also say it, but you can see how a choleric does it with strength. And they're quite loud. Where they are, you will know they're there because their voices are very commanding, which is good and can also be negative. On the other hand, they're very charismatic and they can convince, and they like leading. Where there are people to lead, if there's a group in a class, a group of teachers, and you're saying, people get into groups, choose yourself a leader, they don't need to be chosen. They'll be automatic leaders because it's natural. It comes natural. But they're also lovely because of their charisma, their ability to bring people close to them. And then they are very goal-oriented. Goal-oriented. When they set out to do research, nothing will stop them. They must achieve their goal. That is a positive trait. But on the other hand, why it's important to be aware of ourselves is because they may come out as too competitive, too aggressive, so that one person says a point before the person, in my mother tongue, we say the mouth has fallen. Before the person finishes saying what they're saying, they have interjected. And they can dominate a conversation that nobody else will speak. And amazingly, they don't feel anything funny about it. And they think you should appreciate that I'm contributing. While the other personality is thinking, please just keep quiet. That is their personality. And they can step on others to achieve their goals. They may use hurtful words, can be very argumentative, and wonder why the opponent is offended. And they'll use words like, it's just a word, what's your problem? Not realizing that words do hurt. And when you get into an argument with a choleric, chances are, if you don't have skills, they will beat you hands down. They may not have very many well illustrated points, but they'll insist that they are right. So we need to be aware if we are the ones, because sometimes if I am aware I'm a choleric and I see people are getting stressed when I'm saying what I'm saying, my self-awareness tells me, tone down, give somebody else a chance to speak. And they may take great offense when they're corrected, because according to them, even though there's another personality who is a perfectionist, even the choleric always feels like what I'm doing is right. I'm actually helping you people. Can't you see I'm helping you? And as I'm talking about this, I hope you're also seeing our leaders wherever we are. So the lions or the choleric must learn not to be too bossy or to take charge of other people's affairs. And they should be able to express their feelings, because on the other hand, they also don't express their feelings very easily because they must just look strong. Number 2, the melancholic or the beaver. This person is very articulate in what they're saying. They are perfectionists. They're articulate and creative, but they're also perfectionists. A melancholic's desk, everything is always well arranged, And if you remove what they have put, unlike the other one, if you remove and just a little bit tilt, they will be like, what is wrong with you? Can't you be organized? And they always feel they must solve everything because their standards are very, very high. So when they're in a group, a team of debaters, you feel good because they'll keep you in check. So when the choleric probably is moved very fast, because the choleric say, if I was alive, Rome would have been built in a day. The perfectionist says, if I was with you, it would have been built perfectly. They are very careful with words also. Very careful with words, and they desire to take time and do what is right. But melancholics or beavers do not like sudden changes and can be easily offended. So they were doing something, and then an assembly bell rings, and we are told, can we all meet? They're like, can these people plan their time? While the sanguine will be jumping and saying, hooray, at least I'm relieved from something different. The melancholic is bothered by such things. Because they think they're doing things the right way, they can be very critical of themselves and others. So after a debating competition, they made points and nobody is perfect. Even the judges know nobody is perfect. They can almost all the time, they're like, why did I say that point? I should have said it this way. And instead of just thinking it that way and letting it pass, now they become so critical, they can even become depressed because I should have said it this way. They are also very critical of the opponent's points and tend to have unrealistic expectations of others to the point of not learning new lessons or skills. Remember, when I say I'm perfect, then it will take my being self-aware to learn from somebody else who looks imperfect, because in every situation, there's always something to learn. Then if they make a mistake, the melancholic takes so long to forgive him or herself or the opponent. They can keep an oath for as long as this life is lived, unless they ask God to help them or they are aware. They often need reassurances on the other side, and then they desire to be pitied. So if you want to be a friend with a melancholic, they're always coming to cry, oh, today the weather is so horrible, and you're there saying, don't worry, it will improve. I can tell you the choleric has no time for such. So if they are together, you can imagine what that means. And they may not appreciate the importance of a little humor in speech. Most often they're pessimistic, especially if they're not aware of themselves. So like people are laughing and they're wondering, why are people laughing? Hurry up, what's your problem? And Again, they're very good timekeepers. So maybe right now they're looking at their clock and they're saying, can't we finish? That is part of that personality. I'll give time for comments when I'm through because of time. We have the phlegmatics or the golden retriever. These are animals, by the way, golden retriever, beaver, and all that. Very, very calm, and may not mind corrections. They're generally calm. Even if you go and tell them this and this is happening, can you do like this? They'll be like, yes, I can do that. More often than not, they are very committed to a cause and very, very loyal. If you have such a friend, you can be sure for them to betray you is just because they're humans, but it's not in their nature. And their relationships are few but deep. Now, the problem with that, now leave alone even in terms of debating, is that they may be so committed to that friend that when that friend, like a sanguine, wants to have other friends, they feel like this friend is betraying them. Yet the friend is not betraying them. They are the ones who have an issue. And their presence in a place ensures that there's security, because they're always checking, are we okay? Are things okay? Have we prepared our points well enough? Well, put this point nicely and all that. They'll take people calmly and explain a point, while the melancholic is while the choleric is thinking, hurry up, we've understood. The phlegmatic is saying, no, please take time, point by point. And I'm sure there's a friend of mine who can see herself very clearly as I'm talking. They are very deliberate in what they want to achieve, and they tend to deliver content. When you give a phlegmatic work to do, they will deliver it, except it will be done slowly so that the other personalities might think, can't you move very, very fast? But they work best in a limited situation with a steady work pattern. They don't complain much. So even if you don't supply everything, they will not complain much. They will work with what they have. But on the other hand, they do not like big changes. So if there's a mega change in, like now we're having a change in our nation, the phlegmatics and the melancholics, they'll have a rather hard time if they do not accept the person who is taking over. And again, they're very indecisive. So if you're working with them and you're telling them, handle this part of the study, I'll handle this particular part, you might find them struggling because of the inability to decide which one do I do first. They want to be loved by everyone, which is impossible. They can be indifferent, on the other hand, and unable to express emotions. And I remember somebody talked here, they can be too soft on other people. They're not assertive. So stepping on them is very, very easy. On the other hand, they may apologize, negating many of the points because they can be very sensitive. So they'll say a point and the opponent responds to that point and they start apologizing instead of defending the point. We must note it's a personality trait. They're a bit slow because they never seem to have adequate time. For some reason, they never do the assignments on time, and they may be blaming whoever gave the assignment. Yet their counterparts of other personalities finished the assignment a long time. The melancholic finished, even typed it, put it nicely. This particular personality is still wondering, when will I finish? If they have a point they're not thought about, they may have struggles responding to it. But being aware helps us know how to counter these things. So they need to be more assertive and hold others accountable. And finally, the sanguines, the otter. The sanguines can be very, very pleasant in their presentations, by the way. When they're presenting, people can laugh throughout because they know when to bring in relevant jokes. The experiences they'll use are very relatable, and for them, they don't struggle. It's natural. And like the other personalities who will probably look for those examples and try, because now we are learning. For them, it's almost natural. They are quite positive. Even when it is raining heavily, they know that the rain will stop in 2 minutes. They are very positive. And having them in a debating group is very good, because when we are feeling like the opponent is going to beat us, take us down, they continue strong. They're very social and very enjoyable to be around. But then they sometimes get hurt when people don't like them. Now that's a weakness, because people don't always love us. They usually have a lot of friends, but they don't keep those relationships. They're not as deep as the phlegmatic. So if they're your friends, you'll have issues Because today you are talking, they came to visit you, or they've come to your class and you're talking, you've told so many stories. Tomorrow you meet them and they're talking with somebody else the same, and you're wondering. There's no problem. It is just their nature. They're usually very messy. In fact, somebody said, where their bedrooms are like the devil's workshop. I didn't say anything. Okay. They like to finish things in a hurry. So if you give them a job, let's finish very fast. So if they have the other personalities in their group, it helps because it slows them down and helps them prepare very well. But they're also forgetful. Very, very forgetful. And I have one here in the room. Every time I say something, she's getting me to understand. They can give too many jokes and divert from the aim of the presentation because they tend to speak too much. They may come in untidily dressed and not even be aware of it. The color may be this way, everything is that way. They are least bothered. And they may arrive very late at the venue and they see no problem. What is the problem? We have time here on earth. What's your problem? So for them, the chronometer is not an issue. Wow. Any comments up to there? Any comments up to there, Kathy? Yeah, there's a comment in the room. Yes. Oh, one of my daughters is telling me now I know why she's forgetful. Yes. A few.
There were some comments that were coming in while you shared. I hope Anne was asking for instructions. I hope she's understood. I sent her. And then Isaac commented, though I don't know which personality he's commenting on. He says they insist that they are right. Then there was someone who asked what the meaning of spontaneous is amongst the words.
Okay. Although we passed it. Spontaneous, it just means doing things without thinking. Like right now, spontaneously, I just leave this place and I start talking. I have no issues. You know, spontaneity is just a friend comes and tells me, let's go to the dining hall. I'm there. I'm not even thinking I was supposed to be doing this. You know, spontaneity. Yes. Okay.
Then there's,
so
there's a comment. Antonin says, I have seen very many people here. And then Blessings Doreen asks, is it possible to have a blend of personalities that manifest in different occasions?
You have two major ones that always come out, but because we have two parents with 4 grandparents, high chances are you will not miss some of these personalities. So what is happening is that you have 2 top ones, but then some of us normally tend to have them, some can be leveled. Then a few other things will now make us not see. In fact, I should have said, you're supposed to do that test without thinking of yourself with what? In terms of you've gone to school, or you are a Christian, or you are a Muslim, without a religious perspective. You just think of yourself raw. Because even as we grow in age, some of that change as we grow in age. But when you're a child, these things now came out very, very clearly. And once in a while, when you're given an opportunity to act like a child, you will find them coming out. For example, I may be a teacher, and in front of my students, I'll not be very spontaneous because duty demands that I am strict. But when I am with my fellow teachers, if I am sanguine, I will give all the stories on earth. I will be excited, jumping here and there. It's like when nobody is watching you. You are put your, what do you call it? That you're not protecting yourself. Then that personality comes out. Yes. So do I move on just to finish?
I think there's one more comment here. Let me see what it is. Oh yeah. I'm not sure whether people understood this tally. I have a comment here from Isaac. He says, I find myself falling between 3 and 4. I'm not sure what 3 and 4 is, whether it's the 3rd and 4th personality, or yeah, that's the comment that I have. But just to maybe ask you a question.
Sorry,
okay.
Kathy. Yeah, I just meant that find myself being that is golden retriever, as well as sanguine. That's what I meant after
Okay.
what Dr. Ari has explained.